and we had holy water. I mean, we had everything. You know, everybody contributed, and we put the recorders in the center of the table with crystals and sage and all these different things. And I played sacred music for hours into the recorders and put light around them. And when I picked it up, it was still there.
None of it helped.
None of it helped. No.
Do you have faith in that stuff anymore? Or no?
It was ordained. I needed to talk to Francis. I needed to understand what was going on. I had to get rid of this la-la version of reality that I've been living with.
But that's what I'm asking. Do you think the crystals and the sage and the sacred music, is that lull, or is there some value to that for you still?
I think that there can be value. I think it's intentionality. It's more about your own intention. But I was never going to get what I wanted because that's not valid. Guardian angels are just reptilians with their guardian angel suits on. Angels are reptilians. Spirit guides, for the most part, are also reptilians. Ascended masters are reptilians. Practically everybody that's dealing in this reality, and I'm not going to say everybody, because I did talk to I talked to Francis's consciousness who was assigned to watch over him, and that was real. But we're still in this lockdown, so much of what we think is going on is a lie.
How did you come to discover reverse speech finally?
That's when I had heard of David Oates, and I'd listened to him on Art Bell, and while we were at the Prophets Conference, we interviewed him. I always thought it was fascinating, and I just started experimenting with it. I'd heard about you could reverse EVP, and when I finally did, it was a shocker.
About reverse speech, you say, I, like virtually all of you, have been on the same quest and literally stumbled into EVP and reverse speaking. These open doors to me, I've heard it described as pulling aside the net for a glimpse out. It certainly has its limitations, but I've come to rely on this as probably the least corrupted source of information within this net, as there is no conscious control over it. We can't give ourselves reversals. It isn't conditioned by what we believe, nor what we have been taught. It is outside of time and reveals the past as well as the probable future, which is not cast in stone. In all of the 400 plus people I have listened to in reverse, no one has ever given a different story nor contradicted this basic information. Many add to it, but it is always the same story.
Right.
So you're starting to reverse EVP for the first time, and what are you discovering?
That Francis was pretending to be my spirit guides, the elementals, the earth, that he and his little group of friends were jerking me around. And then they came up, once I started to get it, they admitted it and laughed, and they thought it was just a tremendous joke that I was so gullible. And that's when I tried to get rid of him, of course, but then he was not going to go. But it wasn't until I started really talking to him, and it took a long time because he wasn't the kind you could just sit down and have a regular conversation with. He really was quite mentally ill, actually. He had died of rabies, and I think that carried over into the other world. And but he would, if he was in a mood, he would answer my questions and about what life was like over there and all that. So the reversals, once I knew I could always catch a lie, I had a lot more confidence about talking to these people because I knew that if they were going to jerk me around, I would catch it right away. And once they knew that, the lies stopped.